I just got off of work, and it's currently 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's May 15th, and record-tying temperature. The last time it was this hot, on the 15th of May, was 1967. So I've broke one of the engine stud bolts for the thermostat. So I picked up some parts to attempt to fix this. I've never done this before, but left-hand drill bits, and hopefully while I'm drilling that'll break that stud free, which I'm pretty sure has been in there for 30 years. I think it's the original. And then I've got some screw extractors, which are reverse threaded. You put a wrench on them, or an impact wrench. I gotta use a manual wrench because I didn't bring an air compressor impact driver. And then provided I get that stud out, when I put in the new stud, I will put the seal in and also use some of this gasket sealer, RTV blue silicone gasket maker. One of my neighbors here at the marina, who's the aircraft mechanic, suggested I add this stuff, and then I don't have to torque the bolts down, the nut and bolts down as tight, and I won't risk breaking anything. Here's the broken stud, and I've been soaking it for it's been about 15 hours now, squirting a little bit of this penetrating oil. This is the left-handed drill bit, starting to drill a hole in the stud. I used the center punch to get the bit to center up. This is just to make a hole just big enough to get in the bolt extractor, which immediately snapped. So now I've got hardened steel stuck inside the stud. Back to the store and picked up a carbide drill bit and spent the next 2.5 hours slowly drilling out all the broken pieces. Got that done. Put in a new tap for a coil, and this is actually video of the second turn into the tapping the hole. The first time I did the half turn, back out a quarter turn, advance another half turn, back out a quarter turn, and I went very slow. On this second pass, I'm just clockwise turning in just one final time to clean up the threads. Remove the extractor, and next insert the coil. This is the coil that gets me back down to 7/8 inch thread size. I don't have any video of the coil going in, but there's a special insertion tool for that. Here is the new stud, and I used 2 bolts locked together to get a wrench on one side of the stud to tighten it into the head. A little bit of thread lock applied to the coil as well as the stud. Next, I had to cut the old stud and bolt out of the reservoir tank. A few minutes with a hacksaw, and that's done. And clean off a bunch of the corrosion and gunk on the underside of the reservoir. I also used a little bit of brake cleaner. And a pass of gasket maker. Also put the original gasket, replacement gasket in place, and then a second pass of the RTV gasket maker. For some odd reason, this reservoir tank has a bolt on the left-hand side and a stud on the right. I'm not sure why, but anyhow, it's all back together now, and no leaking.